What is going on? Another trade deadline has come and not yet gone.
Nope, we got 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes. This is Card Central Instant Reaction. He's Joe Roderick. I'm Chris Pelikan. Grant Salzman in the house as well, helping us out. 10 minutes to go until the trade deadline 2025 has passed. St. Louis Cardinals already in for 2 trades. Very much expecting one more, Joe. Phil Maton remains a Cardinal as of 4:52. What time is it?
At this point, I mean, this is going to be the show right now. We want your reactions. We want your comments. We'll throw them up. We'll interact with you guys as much as you want. But we are looking at about 10 minutes and then beyond everything that trickles in of, okay, like Phil Maton, where are you going? Where are you going? Every time we hit refresh, it's another tweet from Jeff Passan or Bob Nightingale or Ken Rosenthal or somebody kind of telling us who's going where and all these last minute deals. And right now we have nothing with Phil Maton. I guess Ken Rosenthal about 10 minutes ago tweeted that the Rangers were actively pursuing left-handed pitcher Phil Maton.
Well,
so unless there's something he hasn't told us,
he's learned how to throw left-handed. In the last
he's amphibious.
20 minutes. Good one. I like it. You. I like it. Well done. Well done. Yeah. He'll move, right? I mean, I think he
at this so I will hold off for about 10 minutes before I put this question in the YouTube chat. But this is way preemptive right now. If Phil Maton doesn't get traded, this is a huge disappointment of a trade deadline, right?
I think I would say that Phil Maton is like a very small piece of this entire equation. And I would probably bet whatever small amount of money I currently have in my pocket that the chat will be filled up. And folks, jump into the YouTube chat. We want to see your thoughts and your feelings on this trade deadline. And while you're down there, please hit like and subscribe. Join the STL Sports Central community. I'm going to assume we're going to see a lot of angst over the entire process going into this, right? I mean, you had 3 very easy trade targets, relievers on expiring contracts. They're the ones who get moved the most at this time of year. But I think a lot of people woke up today thinking, all right.
Right-handed pitcher, Phil Maton.
It's good. It's good. So I guess we are close to it being official. We'll go ahead and check out the return once that becomes available. Grant will let us know about that. But
Katie Wu, Ken Rosenthal, both tweeting that out.
Why don't we just jump into? We're reporting as well. How about that? Joe Roderick now reporting as well.
I'm waiting to see. I'm seeing if anybody has sent me that. So
and my point, before we find out what the Phil Maton trade brought was that I think some people looked at this as an opportunity to give this team a facelift moving forward.
Yes,
you have several players nearing the end of their time in arbitration with this team that the Cardinals are going to have to make a decision on one way or another, namely Lars Nootbaar being a guy who's going to be entering his final year of arbitration. Brendan Donovan will be entering his second year of arbitration, have two left as well. The team has to decide whether they want them to be a part of their future long-term. And I think you can make a case both ways for both of those guys. I think some are thinking there has just sort of been a stench with this group to change that up, to start trying a different mix. We'll get into this a lot more because this is going to be, in my estimation, we're going to talk a lot about just sort of philosophical ideas with the Cardinals as much as we talk about the return they're getting on the 3 players that they'll end up eventually trading. But I think that the point I would make in this whole thing is, they sold the plan of let's see what we have in these young players. Let's do the runway thing. Then they come out to a decent start. At the end of the day, it's really hard to argue that this blend that John Mozeliak has put together has not worked and will not work.
All right. Jeff Passan tweeted. So Katie Wu, her tweet's up on the screen right now. John Mozeliak's annual deadline buzzer beater. One last time, the St. Louis Cardinals close to finalizing a deal that will send right-handed reliever Phil Maton to the Rangers. 2 minor league prospects are coming to St. Louis. The trade is pending medical reviews. So as that is being reported, we will do our best to get you the names of those prospects, out where they are ranked in the system for them as well. While we wait for that, though, there have been a whole lot of moves.
Oh yeah,
throughout all of Major League Baseball. Just quickly, kind of running through some of these. Red Sox get Dustin May from Dustin May from the Dodgers. You get Nestor Cortez going from the Brewers to the Padres. Marlins will not trade Sandy Alcantara. The Royals get Bailey Falter from the Pirates. I would say, is this, as we kind of go through here, we try to figure out what the biggest trade of the day is? Carlos Correa back to the Astros?
Yeah, that's up there. I mean, I would tend to think that the Oakland trade with San Diego, right? So,
Mason Miller,
again, the talk is last year there were 0 top 100 prospects traded at the deadline. Well, this year Leo DeVries, who's in the top 5 overall, moves from San Diego to Oakland. I mean, AJ Preller. If I'm going to sit here and talk all night about John Mozeliak's lack of boldness down the stretch of his career, I mean, AJ Preller is the exact opposite. Does it mean it's good? I mean, they basically gave up. Let's rewind 3 years and let's remember how we thought of Jordan Walker, right? A number 1 overall caliber prospect in baseball. I mean, he was the next thing, right? And obviously now we're realizing that's not the case. That's what Leo DeVries is in San Diego. So they acquire Mason Miller and JP Sears in exchange for him and a couple other young players. And, again, you can say what you want about the Padres. Obviously I think that they would want to do over on the Juan Soto trade a few years back with Washington, but they're bold. And Mason Miller is one of the best young arms in baseball. I believe they're talking about making him a starting pitcher moving forward.
Well, just to look at the Padres this year, you have they've added quite a bit now to that.
They've added 6 players today.
Yeah, which to use a wrestling term that might go over both of your heads. They had the 4 horsemen. They had the 4 horsemen in there, but I mean now that bullpen's looking more like the NWO with how many people they have added into that. So hopefully somebody out there appreciates the reference I just made with that. So that's probably the big one. Is I keep going down here. The Mets, Cedric Mullins going to the Mets. The Yankees get Jake Bird. Rangers get Merrill Kelly. Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano both to the Padres. So David Bednar to the Yankees. Harrison Bader to the Phillies. The list just goes on and on and on.
This has been active today.
With how many trades there have been. We're going to get the final numbers, and it would not surprise me if we are at a near record number of players and deals being made. And the one thing I'm kind of noticing is the top teams that are in it to win it, like the Mariners, like the Padres, like the Mets.
Look at the Reds.
They are going after it.
Yeah. But
the Reds, Brian Hayes,
and they picked up Miguel Andujar today as well.
Okay, I didn't see that one yet.
So that one just happened not that long ago. And again, I mean, it's just to the point being, I mean, and I think the Reds all season have been an underachieving team. They've got talent. That is a talented team with some real high level arms. I mean, they're the kind of team that I don't think you want to see in the playoffs because of what they can do at the front end of that rotation. So, I mean, again, I will at least commend the Cardinals for understanding where they were as an organization and that there was no point in doing anything other than trading movable assets at this point in time. Having said that, again, it seems like to your point, there were many, many, many teams who are willing to push their chips in the middle. And, we talk about this a lot, and I will, 1000% put the caveat out there that we never know what the offers look like, right? Because there's a point where, in my mind, moving on from Lars Nootbaar would have been a good idea. He's a guy who, despite being loved by the sabermetric community, he just has not been able to put it together for full seasons here in St. Louis. I just don't know if he's the guy you invest in long-term because, at his youngest and healthiest, quote unquote, he struggled to be healthy. So I think he would have been a guy that if you could have gotten some. Now, having said that, if the best offer was, a bag of balls and a low A, reliever,
I would imagine a lot of that had to do with the money that was exchanged, with how much of the contract any team was willing to spend on that, right?
Well, I mean, again, who are we talking about, right? Like you're talking about like Nootbaar?
No, for Arenado.
Oh, and Arenado for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, he's one that I mean, I don't think you could have gotten anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only question on Arenado, and I feel like this has been answered by DeWitt a long time ago. I don't think they want to eat a huge amount of the money of his contract that's left. He's got 2 years, and I think it's like 36 million left on that deal. And I think that if the Cardinals were willing to eat 25 million of that,
right,
they might be able to find a trade partner.
But
then you ask yourself the question: is it worth paying $25 million to save 11? On a guy who is at worst still a competent defender at third base and a good leader. I mean,
here's an interesting one. The Yankees just added another piece to their bullpen. Giants closer,
Camilo Duvall.
Yeah. So the Giants, who have kind of been going back and forth as far as being in the race, Giants, it appears, are going to be sellers.
They trade, Taylor Rogers the other day to the Mets as well. And when you see moves like that, when you're giving up just a very quality back end piece of your bullpen, that the writing is on the wall for that team. The Devers trade certainly hasn't worked out the way they were hoping it would. I still think that's a smart trade. I think he's going to be a centerpiece hitter for a long time for San Francisco, but this year certainly just hasn't worked out for him. I mean, that's interesting. We were under the impression that the Yankees were kind of done doing bullpen stuff, but I guess the price was just too good. And Duvall's a guy who was up and down this year, right? Started off pretty bad, rebounded a little bit. But that's the nature of relief pitching.
Right.
Again, it's why that's who moves at trade deadlines. Teams are waiting to see who's pitching well. David Bednar early in the year was in the minor leagues, and then he brings a pretty nice haul back from Pittsburgh or from the Yankees going up there because he's been so good. I think he's had 25 scoreless appearances in a row. So, it's hit and miss with these guys. Another reason why you don't give multi-year contracts to relief pitchers. It's a little sidebar, little note. The one that's jumping out to me, and this is, again, we're looking at this whole thing through the lens of Cardinal fans. The Red Sox picking up Dustin May.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's a guy who struggled with injury, but has an electric arm.
Yeah.
He's got that 99 mile an hour sinker. Looks like Carrot Top from, minus the muscles. But that is the kind of guy that the Cardinals should be jumping all over. The guy who is still probably, I think he's pre-arbitration or probably going into it. He certainly just didn't have an opportunity in LA. I mean, he was 7th, 8th, 9th on that pitching depth chart. So he wasn't going to get a chance there. And I'm looking at, and I don't know what the Red Sox are have paid to get Dustin May, but that's the kind of guy the Cardinals can bring on, try to get healthy and plug into that rotation next year, with a huge upside, and limited, a limited financial commitment at this point in time. Again, back to my statement, be bold, right? And that's not even overly bold. We'll wait to see what the Red Sox gave, but the Cardinals at this point in time have enough prospects to move to get a guy like Dustin May, who's probably in the bargain bin to a degree. So
I didn't see if Joe Ryan ended up getting traded. Not seeing anything finalized. Of course, trades could be trickling in here over the next 20, 30 minutes or so. But
why would you trade Joe Ryan if you're
it's just, it's a full-on fire sale right now. The Twins I'm going through, they've traded away. We already mentioned Carlos Correa. They traded away
they actually
Willie Castro.
Just traded Griffin Jacks as well, who was another guy, one of the best back end guys available. He's going to Tampa. So yeah, at this point in time, why not jump Joe Ryan?
That Twins roster tomorrow is going to be
you my name is
we're name luckily tags. You just have to go to St. Paul to for their AAA affiliate up there, so no
get on the bus.
That's pretty much what it is. But I'm seeing that the Blue Jays just got Luis Varland from the Twins here,
and Ty France.
Yeah, so there are a lot of Orioles veteran Charlie Morton goes to Detroit.
That was going to happen. He was that was going to happen for. So, not necessarily there, but they were. I know Baltimore's looking to get rid of him.
And the big names that did not get traded. So that's so Mackenzie Gore did not get traded.
Stephen Kwan didn't get
traded. Kwan did not get traded. Sandy Alcantara did not get traded. So we did not see any of those blockbuster
Brendan
trades.
Donovan did not get traded.
No Brendan Donovan for that. And So as we kind of look here and we wait to see what happens and what does come across over the next few minutes, I will say this. Not we saw the rumors that they were open for business and that they were looking, they were answering calls on Donovan, on Nootbaar, on Burleson, and we were going to, they were going to entertain offers on that. The thing that I am most disappointed on as of right now isn't the return for any of the guys. My disappointment right now is that I don't think in this variation, this version of the Cardinals right now, I don't think we're going to see JJ Weatherholt in September.
Yeah.
My hope in all of this was that somebody would have gotten moved in some capacity, that Nolan Arenado would have been traded, that Nolan Gorman would have been traded, that, if Lars Nootbaar gets traded, that kind of opens a few more things up. But right now, I think there is such a logjam in this lineup that now when Lars Nootbaar comes back, when Nolan Gorman comes back, you're going to have a really a big issue on your hands for getting a lot of these guys at bats. You're toying around with Ivan Herrera playing left field. I'm fine with that. It's go for it. You're opening up that DH position to allow for, rest days. Sure. And you saw the Padres use a different DH. I mean, I think DH is somebody different from their infield every single game over the weekend. But right now with this, JJ Weatherholt is not going to get that September call up because where are you going to play him?
I would tell you that I think that's 1,000% up to JJ Weatherholt. If he keeps hitting the ball the way he's hitting the ball right now in Memphis, they'll bring him up and they'll play him. Mm-hmm. I think when you are, clearly, I can't see a scenario where the nosedive doesn't sort of continue. At some point in September, this team's probably significantly under 500. They're so far out at that point in time. I mean, if you're sitting Lars Nootbaar for a couple,
right.
I think it's going to come down to Weatherholt. The real question is what is the team's plan with Weatherholt? Like you and I have talked a little bit about how, we got the finger coming up.
Cubs just acquired Taylor Rogers, who was traded yesterday to the Pirates. Ty France was also part of the Twins deal to the Blue Jays.
Cardinals get left-handed pitcher Mason Molina, right-handed pitcher Skylar Hales, plus international money in exchange for Maton.
All right, I will look these guys. We will look these guys up real quick.
Reaction.
A Molina is back in the Cardinals organization. There you go. That's the big thing here.
Mason Molina, the 27th ranked prospect for the Rangers.
Yeah.
So we don't know where that'll land him. 27 and 28.
Okay.
They got in the top 30.
All right.
And once again, it's you're buying lottery tickets here.
100%.
I mean, and we're not far removed from their last sale at the deadline, and you can sit there and see what the Jordan Montgomery returned, which he was, one of the top guys in the market that year. And we've seen Thomas Sajaci, questionable whether he has a future. I mean, obviously John King, poor guy, will not be pitching for probably the rest of this year. And TK Roby certainly will not as well. Again, you got to take your shots. I mean, and Phil Maton wasn't coming back. Steven Matz wasn't coming back. Ryan Helsley was not coming back. You got something, did they get franchise changing players? I mean, if anyone tells you yes or no, they don't really know. I mean, obviously these aren't big names. These aren't big names in the prospect world.
Well, one of these guys, so Skylar Hales is a guy that we might see with the Cardinals this year. As
what is he, 25 or something?
He is only 23 years old right now in AAA with the Rangers, projected to be in the big league roster by 2025. He was a 4th round draft pick in 2023. Says here, and this is according to Major League Baseball's pipeline, the MLB.com's pipeline website. The Rangers made Hales the 3rd reliever taken in the 2023 draft. Turns to his heater about 2/3 of the time, 94 to 97 miles an hour, reaching 100 with tremendous carry and deception, as well as some arm side run. His mid-80s slider is his most trusted secondary pitch, is what it says here. Hales works from a low slot with a short arm action and back. Mechanics allow his fastball to get on hitters more quickly. So that is the
it's kind of funny, Joe, is that I've heard this about some of these pitchers that they've picked up, that Bloom likes guys who throw fastballs up in the zone and have strange arm slots. And so it's kind of funny that this is the report on this guy. So clearly there is Chaim Bloom has a type, especially when it comes to relievers. And I think he likes funky deliveries with good top of the zone heat. So
I mean, would Bloom have been with the Rays organization? I remember a few years ago, like you could look, they had guys from both sides of the mountain. Like you could go look at their arm slot delivery, and it was like
that
going from 3 to 9 on a clock where,
very well might have been
all every single guy in the bullpen
clearly looking like his MO as an executive. So.
And then here you go on Mason Molina. He was a 7th round draft pick in 2024, it looks like, here by Milwaukee. At the time, he had the potential of a first-round pick early in his college career at Texas Tech, was invited to try out for the collegiate team in the summer of 23, transferred to Arkansas, and then battled an ankle injury and control issues. So he was drafted by the Brewers, and then the Rangers acquired him in January, a trade for Grant Anderson. There, he is a lefty. Remember that before I tell you that his fastball sits 90, 91, tops out at about 95. It's effective because it rides past bats at the top of the strike zone. There you go. You as you mentioned, that best pitch is his plus low 80s changeup that sinks and helps his heater work better. He tends to work up with his fastball, down with his secondary offerings. So there you go on both of those guys. Says here that he has a chance of becoming a 4th or 5th starter. 6'2", 230 pounds. Big boy.
Beefy.
Yeah.
A man after our own hearts, huh?
Yeah. He most projected time to get to the major leagues for him is 2027.
Few years on him. This is Card Central Instant Reaction. It's brought to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours. He's Joe Roderick. I'm Chris Pelikan. We need you to jump into that YouTube chat. Let us know what you think of the Cardinals haul as basically the top 3 pieces at the back end of their bullpen, minus JoJo Romero, are now ex-Cardinals. Ryan Helsley is off to New York. Phil Maton to Texas, and Steven Matz is in Boston. So the return, I guess if we're looking at those 3, they have returned 7 players. 7 minor league players or
6.
Oh yeah. And
one for Matz, 2 for Maton, 3 for Helsley.
Yep, plus the international bonus money.
Yes.
So 6 players, minor leaguers coming back at the deadline. Obviously the question at this point in time, no one knows. I mean, I think that one of these prospects who was acquired in the Helsley trade, Baez from the Mets, Jesus Baez, will fall into the Cardinals' top 10 in prospects. So he's probably the one that people are looking at. Maybe a few lottery tickets as well. He's number 5? 6. 6th ranked Cardinals prospect, Jesus Baez, who's a 20-year-old third baseman playing at high A at the moment. A little bit of pop. So we'll see. But once again, you talk about the returns, and if we're not talking about guys who are top 50 prospects, it's a little bit, you're in the world of chance at this point in time.
John Morosi calling this one of the best trade deadlines ever is what John Morosi's calling this.
Unless you're a Cardinal fan.
It's still to that though. I mean, you can, this is, I'm okay. You get back, you knew that you were getting Phil Maton expiring contract. Yep. You had a Helsley expiring contract. You had Matt's the expiring contract. You were and going Helsley, to part
as you pointed out earlier that they had already mentioned that they were not going to be qualifying Helsley, which basically takes that out of the equation, maybe getting a compensatory draft pick for him. So to your point, you
trade away 3 bullpen guys in the past 2 weeks now. So you've traded away 3 bullpen guys. You DFA'd Eric Fetty. He's now with Atlanta. So I guess 4 trades total or what the Cardinals have made
trade
this year. What, like, I am confused by what is happening right now with the future of this ball club. How do you look at 2026? We're in this runway for the next season for 2026 and beyond. I'm just very confused by this.
I mean, and I'll be honest. I mean, I'm sitting here and you know, I'm going to preface this by saying that I think John Mozeliak did a fantastic job as the president of baseball operations, main guy for a vast majority of his time here. It's a shame that his legacy is going to be tarnished by the end, right? Like, and I think that a lot of people will not view Mo's time here favorably, which is a shame because the guy was a super high level executive. This team won very consistently under his time. So that has to be factored in when you're talking about. Having said that, what they have done the last handful of years, and I will pinpoint the moments of them, quote unquote, losing the Marcell Ozuna trade, losing the Randy Arozarena trade, as when John Mozeliak, high level baseball executive, veered off course. Whether it was the criticism he received for it, whether it was a questioning of their own internal scouting system and whatnot, they stopped doing the thing that made them successful for a long period of time, which was taking risks on guys that other teams didn't want to pay. And, you know, we were talking about this before. There are two guys on this roster who were acquired via trade pre-prospect status, and that's Jojo Romero and Nolan Arenado. And I will say this. If the Cardinals continue to be a team that thinks they're going to build through free agency and their own minor league system, we're going to get a lot more of the same. I certainly understand that money is going to be a major factor, right? Like the TV money is gone for the time being. We don't know what the revenues are going to look like. Obviously, attendance has been lagging significantly over the last few years. I don't expect this team to have $190, $200 million payroll. Okay. That's just the reality of the situation. What they've had in the past relative to other teams being near the top 10. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again. But with that in mind, this team needs to be creative and they need to be bold and they need to take chances. Okay. And I mean, this is why I'm sitting here being somewhat jealous of Padres fans, not just because, you know, hey, they got a cool new arm in Mason Miller, right? Who throws 105, right? They've got a GM who understands the need to shake things up. You know, we talked a lot about runway this year, and I can't sit here and say, oh boy, you know, I'm really bummed about the prospect haul the Cardinals got, because we don't know. And to be real honest with you, I've got prospect fatigue. I told you that. I am like, at this point in time, when you talked about the whole setup for this season, the runway year, you know, you think about that and I'm like, this is baseball, guys. Like, I mean, you don't get an opportunity because you did some stuff in the minor leagues or you were drafted high. Mm-hmm. You get the opportunity when you get a tiny opportunity and that grows. And, you know, Albert Pujols wasn't supposed to make this team. The only reason he made the team was Bobby Bonilla got hurt. And then guess what he did in his limited opportunities? He raked and he never stopped raking. And again, I know there are no Albert Pujols floating around. He's a once in a generation caliber player. But this idea that Jordan Walker deserves 600 bats this year, when he's done nothing to prove that he deserves 600 at bats. This is why this team is losing. Okay. Let's stop with the opportunity thing. Make guys earn their opportunities.
To go back, you mentioned, so the Ozuna trade, and what was the other trade you said? That
the Arozarena, which still might turn out to
and
be
that's where, yeah, and that's what, so I'm sitting here and because I want to throw this up there, and I just wanted to, because somebody had commented, Brian comments, name Mozeliak's 3 best trades. Are we talking about
like all time?
Like, are we? I mean, that's so. I would like to clarify, because I think everybody will look at this differently. Because are you saying how the best 3 the way they played out, or the best 3 like in the moment? Like, hey, that's a hell of a trade that you just made. Because if we're talking, John Mozeliak went out and traded for Paul Goldschmidt and traded for Nolan Arenado. Are you going to tell me that in that moment that you didn't go out and check ticket prices and look at stuff the second those 2 trades were made? Because neither one of those trades have worked out. Paul Goldschmidt's come and gone. They won how many playoff games with Paul Goldschmidt on the team?
He did win an MVP.
he did win an MVP. So are we really going to sit here and say that wasn't a great trade?
No, it was a great trade
that he made. Nolan Arenado, you bring in a guy that won how many more Gold Gloves once he became a St. Louis Cardinal. Here, you're saying that's not a one of his best trades. And as it sits right now, this is where, you know, at the moment, Randy Arozarena went off and he won the ALC. He was a ALCS MVP when it happened. But he's no longer on the team that traded for him. He's now in Seattle, and Matthew Liberatore's in your rotation.
Yep.
So long term, like that does. It does seem like it works out. And I get in the moment, like right now,
not
you
even
look at it,
necessarily the moment, right? Like, I mean, in the year after, right, where Rosarena was a World Series MVP, where Sandy Alcantara and Zach Allen are Cy Young guys. Like, I mean, it looks terrible. I mean, I even said this about the Ozuna thing. Granted, yes, he did have that little nasty dust up domestic disturbance thing, but I mean, Marcell Ozuna hit more home runs over the last 5 years than about all but 90, all but 2 or 3 guys in majors. Had they kept Ozuna, would that trade have been viewed differently? I mean, so it's almost a different point, but at the time,
right,
they just got, Mozeliak was getting killed as a Rosarena was doing what he was doing, and as Sandy Alcantara was winning a Cy Young Award, and Zach Allen doing what he was doing.
I'll throw this out here. This from Mason Windu, the 3 great recent trades. You got Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader. Jordan Montgomery started a playoff game for you, and then you ended up trading him for John King Thomas Sajacy in the end, and it worked out.
Sure.
I mean, how
about remember
who the hell Palacio? I remember Palacios. I can't think for the life of me what his first name was.
Richie.
Was it Richie?
Yeah.
Okay, because he had the brother too.
He was the one. He was the one who played for the Cardinals.
Okay, for Kittredge. Yeah, and Kittredge was really good last year. And then one you and I were talking about before, Edmundo Sosa for Jojo Romero is one of those rare win-win trades at a major league level that both teams have held on to those guys, and both guys have played roles with those teams since then.
I mean, Mo got Matt Holliday.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty good trade for Brett Wallace.
Yeah,
that one worked out okay. I mean, Jason Hayward for Shelby Miller. That didn't. I mean, obviously, he didn't turn out to be
right.
The Cubs fans would disagree.
Won 100 games that year,
but his year, I mean, and it's like, and that trade in my mind is 1,000% why the Cardinals were good. You sit there and you say, should the Cardinals have traded Shelby Miller? Oh my, like, I think this iteration of the Cardinals would never trade Shelby Miller at that time, right? He was young. He was coming off a pretty nice little season, a high draft pick. We wouldn't touch him, but Jason Hayward was a guy who at the time was super young, good defender, little pop in the bat. It had kind of come and gone. He came to St. Louis in a contract year and had a fantastic season. So much so the team offered him the biggest contract in team history, and he turned it down to go to the Cubs. But those are the kind of things that's bold, and it worked, and the team was good because of it. And he just stopped doing stuff like that. That's what kills me.
Yeah, and somebody had pointed out in the comments too. Let me scroll back up and find this if I can. Somebody had said, and I apologize as I'm kind of scrolling through. I
mean, the John Lackey trade was fantastic.
Yeah,
where they traded Alan Craig, who clearly was spiraling. The injury he'd had, he never came back from, and you get John Lackey, who was a big part team and had that crazy option. You remember that John Lackey, the last year he was in St. Louis, pitched for the league minimum because of his contract in Boston, where he'd had Tommy John surgery and agreed. And so
here you go. This one, Mizzou 1755. Mo's biggest problem were the trades he didn't make.
Yep.
At the end there.
Couldn't agree more.
That's one where are we counting a trade like that where a few years ago they were deciding between Sean Murphy or Wilson Contreras? And are we happy? Are we upset? Like where do we stand on that with choosing Wilson Contreras over Sean Murphy? I think right now,
arguable.
I'm very happy with Wilson. Again, it's not leading to playoff berth.
But again, but you and I have talked a lot about the fact what's the difference between Sean Murphy and Wilson Contreras right now.
Right,
one of them's actually still a catcher.
Yeah,
and I mean, again, like if Sean Murphy's here, then you got somebody else playing first base, and so I just this concept that you're going to build this team through giving guys who maybe have pedigree chances without really earning them, in addition to let's just sign guys. Baseball free agency is the worst way to spend your money, unless you are a super high market, a high Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, and you can go and get the highest level guys and pay them $700 million. The whole middle tier of free agency every year is littered with guys on the wrong side of 30 who are declining in production, who are going to get paid way more than they're worth. And the Cardinals' forays into free agency have been miserable. They've been awful over the last 5 years. And so I am completely I'm not going to be one of these guys who's going to sit there and say, DeWallet, spend your money. I don't know how much Bill DeWitt makes on the Cardinals. I don't know. I do know that revenues are down. That's a fact of life. You can be competitive in Major League Baseball, putting out a good team without spending $250 million on payroll. There are many teams that do this, and I don't know why the Cardinals can't be one of those teams.
We're only going to go about 5 more minutes here. John Mozeliak is going to have a Zoom with the Cardinal media at about 5:30 today. So I would imagine we are going to have.
Are we Cardinal media?
I mean, they just sent it to me. So
send it to me. No.
So from that, follow on socials, and we'll have updates from you on things that are occurring with that. To recap everything that's happened, Phil Maton traded to the Texas Rangers, and I saw people, so enough is enough saying 6 guys who will never see St. Louis. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you that the right-hander that they got in this, Skylar Hales. I believe, because John King just went on the IL, and you just traded away 3 guys from your bullpen. It would not surprise me one bit if Skylar Hales is pitching in San Diego this weekend.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I haven't, but I'm just saying when you look at what they have available right now, when you look at who can be called up right now, and you look at what the options are, like
Roycroft and Ryan
right.
Fernandez,
that's what I'm saying. Like you very well could see Ryan Fernandez.
John King was up pretty quickly after he was acquired.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a guy that is, his ETA is 2025, and this might be a case. It might be a repeat of 23 where the Braves are kind of doing it right now, where you have X amount of innings that you need to get through to get to the end of the season. Who's going to throw them for you?
Yeah.
That's
Hale.
And Skylar
Hale
might be that guy for this season. The lefty, somebody else I saw had asked in the chat too, is the left-handed pitcher a player that can be in the bullpen next year? He is projected to make the major leagues by 2027. He is 22 years old. Skylar Hales is 23 years old. Yeah. Mason Molina, the left-handed pitcher, is in high A ball right now. Skylar Hales is in AAA. I believe the Round Rock Express, I think, is the name of that AAA team down there.
A team I used to cover.
Are they the ones that have the lazy river that goes around the?
No, I don't think so, unless they change ballparks.
Okay, there's a team in Texas. There is the minor league team in Texas, I think, has a lazy river that goes around the stadium.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
It's not, at least it wasn't at the Dell Diamond when I used to cover the Round Rock Express back in the day. Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching baseball. And the simplest way to get in on the action is to download the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6. And right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
This is Card Central Instant Reaction. He's Joe Roderick. I'm Chris Pelikan. And Joe, I guess John Mozeliak set to address the Cardinal media shortly, so we'll be hearing some stuff from that probably within the next hour or so. Cardinals wrap up the 2025 trade deadline. 3 relief pitchers lighter. The 3 guys who everyone expected to get dealt, Ryan Helsley, Phil Maton, and Steven Matz, all have new addresses. Joe, your thoughts on the Cardinals trade deadline, the Major League deadline as a whole, as we sort of say goodbye to the 2025 trade season.
The Major League one, by the way, so the Twins traded 10 players from their roster.
That's an
10
overhaul.
players from their roster. I cannot wait to see the transaction log for that going to their game tomorrow, because there are only 3 games in Major League Baseball played today. So everybody is pretty
available
much
to move.
off and available to move around. This was what we expected from the Cardinals standpoint. This is what we thought it was going to be. I would have liked maybe a little more, just, I don't know, maybe for the numbers here at STL Sports Central. But I think overall it would have been, I don't know what the direction of this team is. That's what I'm trying to say. I would have liked an answer as to what the direction of this team is. Maybe Mo is about to address that with the media here in a matter of minutes to kind of give us an idea of what 26 looks like. Maybe we're all just reserved to the fact that 27 is a lost year, that we might not have baseball in 27. So maybe that's kind of what the plan is with this. So I would say this is what I expected. I'm still disappointed in this because I would have liked to see a more opening of a runway for others, especially JJ Weatherholt.
Yeah. You know what? And I think I made my feelings abundantly clear throughout this thing. I would very much hope that your point about the impending labor stoppage in 27 is not affecting their decisions right now. It's a good point. It very well might be in their thinking that baseball is set for a pretty long downward spiral for a while. I mean, you're hearing some very tough talk from the likes of Bryce Harper and Rob Manfred, about the possible imposition of a salary cap and so on and so forth. So I hope that is not going into the thinking. Again, this was John Mozeliak's last turn at this. I'm curious how much Chaim Bloom's input was involved with this. You would have to assume that since everything they did seemed to be based on the future, that he would have had a lot of say in this. The fact that the team decided to hold on to Lars Nootbaar, again, I don't know what offers were made for Nootbaar at this point in time. So if they got offered nothing for him, so be it. You don't make the trade. Having said that, he seems like it would have been an easy guy to move if there would have been proper interest. And when you saw the amount of outfielders that moved today, it seems like Nootbaar would have had a market. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Right.
Brendan Donovan is another guy that I think they should be building around. But if you've had talks with Brendan Donovan's camp and you guys are this far apart on contract terms for an extension that needs to get done within the next year and a half, then maybe this is the time to cash in on that as well. Right. So, a lot left out there. My frustration with this team and management group right now is a lack of bold decision-making. I don't think you saw much of a difference today.
Let me ask you, you're on post game for Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, I am.
Grant's in the room too. You're on with Grant for post game Saturday and Sunday. If the Cardinals have a lead in the bottom of the ninth inning in San Diego, who is closing that game out for the Cardinals?
Super. So JoJo's obviously the stock answer, right? I mean, he's the best guy they got at the back end of the bullpen. Are you hunting for a Gordon Graceffo answer here right now?
I don't know. I think it's by committee at the moment, whether it's lefty, righty. I think JoJo's the option out there. I don't know if there is going to be a set closer at the moment, but I do think I would like to see Granillo. I would like to see Granillo get it. Granillo or Graceffo.
I think Graceffo's the one. Granillo's kind of come a little bit out of nowhere. I don't know. I mean, and fine. I wouldn't mind giving a little bit of leash to Graceffo to see if it's something, it's going to have to be addressed in the offseason one way or another, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have to fortify the back end of that bullpen in some way. Is Gordon Graceffo, as of this second, he certainly is not a guy you hand that job to moving forward.
Right.
If he goes down the stretch and looks lights out, I mean, I think the stuff is there. And I will say this about Graceffo. What I've been most impressed with is his mental fortitude.
Yeah.
He is a bulldog, man. I think he's built to be a closer. The stuff doesn't play. He's not going to be a Josh Hader kind of stuff guy, but boy, I think the fastball can play. He's got a bulldog attitude. I wouldn't mind seeing it because I think with JoJo, JoJo's going in the last year of his deal as well. JoJo's found his rhythm, and it's one of these things that I kind of tend to think that maybe you leave well enough alone with JoJo. You let him keep doing what he's doing. I don't think there's a world where JoJo Romero ends up being your closer next year or beyond. So I think stick with what you got. Let's start auditioning candidates.
Here's a funny Brewers did make a trade at the deadline. They made a trade with the Diamondbacks. They acquired Shelby Miller, former Cardinal,
Sure.
who's on the IL. They also got Jordan Montgomery. Who I don't, is he on the IL also?
Yeah.
Like, is he? It's so
Yeah, didn't he have Tommy John?
I mean,
For the Diamondbacks,
as far as salary relief is what they got. So that is the move. The Brewers went out and got 2 pitchers who I don't believe can help them anytime
I'm curious
soon.
how much money Arizona put into that thing. And Jordan Montgomery's contract is done at the end of this year. That's an interesting one. I don't really know.
Yeah,
there's definitely a reason we don't know. Shelby Miller's been a pretty decent back end of the bullpen guy.
He has been,
in his later life. So, the Brewers are stacking up to make a run.
Mm-hmm.
No reason they shouldn't. They're one of the best teams in the game right now. So,
yeah.
All right, my friend. Fun as always.
That was a fun show. We're glad that something happened, and hopefully we helped you kind of navigate through the trade deadline for 2025.
For Joe Roderick, I'm Chris Pelikan. This has been Card Central Instant Reaction. We will see you real soon.